My name is Bill Haas, and I want to be your Democratic nominee for president. I know it seems like I'm a little late getting to the party. In basketball, I guess you'd call me a walk-on. But when I filed my papers to run last Christmas Day, it was 50 years to the month that I first had the thought to run. So I'm actually the first one in the race, not the last one. When my Uncle Will, after whom I'm named because I was born during World War II, when he was flying in Europe and we didn't know if he'd be coming home, came up to see me to see if I was all right as I was about to drop out of my second year at Harvard Law School to get a handle on my depression. You know, back then we didn't really have a word for depression. I told him two things: that I would get a handle on what was bothering me, and I did after 3 years of community organization, like Obama, in Detroit and Chicago, in Vista, now AmeriCorps, sort of a domestic Peace Corps, and I went back and graduated from Harvard Law in 1972. The other thing I told him was that I was going to be president one day. I don't know where that came from. It was like an epiphany. I didn't do drugs or drink or have hallucinations, and I wasn't even very political. It wasn't until 10 or 15 years later when I started becoming more politically active as an assistant law director of Cleveland, Ohio, where I'm originally from, for then Mayor Dennis Kucinich, that I thought back on that moment and wondered if someone or something was telling me to keep my eyes on the prize. I never was obsessed with this, but as the years passed and I came to think that I had some wisdom and gifts for public service, that I thought maybe one day, if the time was right, I would run. So last year, I decided the time was right, so I filed. My Uncle Will was still alive. He was 95. So I called him and reminded him of the conversation and told him to hold a day in January 2021 for the inauguration. And he said he would. And then several weeks later, he passed away. So I figured he needed to get to heaven so he and my dad could figure out how I'm going to win this thing. And when I do, I know my dad will say, as he used to when I do well at one of my swimming meets, "That a boy, Billy." Dad was always proud of me, even when I wasn't very proud of myself, because he knew I always did my best. That and his unconditional love, no greater gifts can a parent give their child. So this one's for you, Dad. I'm Bill Haas, and I'm seeking your support for the Democratic nomination for President of the United States. This is my second of 10 or so video ads. I know I'm a little late to the party, but it's going to be my party, and the other nominees in Trump can cry if they want to. I'm the progressive moderate who can win the nomination and the general election. I'm sort of a younger version of Joe Biden without the baggage, or experience for that matter, but I'll make it up with my stance on the issues. Though Joe did have the best line of the campaign when asked what his plan was to fix climate change, he said his plan to fix climate change is to beat Trump. That should be all of our plans for climate change and everything else, because if we don't beat Trump, nothing else matters. And my secret weapon to beat him and win the general election, other than my good looks and swimming ability, both of which have faded considerably over the years, is my choice of a woman of color for vice president. Maybe it will be Oprah Winfrey, if she'll accept. Or maybe actress Cicely Tyson, or Halle Berry. I've considered Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who would be a terrific choice, but doesn't fit the demographic. As you can see, I don't have a teleprompter. We're old school here. I've thought of Martha Stewart, but in addition to not fitting the demographic, I'd rather have her as First Lady than Vice President. And I distinctly remember proposing to her on several occasions, though not lately. I used to tell her she'd make a great senator's wife back in 2016 when I was thinking of running, and we were both on match. But I digress, perhaps. This video message will be about why I want to be your president. The simple answer is that I care about the problems that exist. I think I have a contribution to make to help solve them, and what's in it for me is the challenge and satisfaction of doing a difficult and important job well. But there are more metaphorical answers also, and let me give you two of them. First, Martin Niemöller, the Protestant minister who helped the disadvantaged around the world after World War II, when asked why he did it, said that during the war he didn't stand up for the Jews, nor the homosexuals, nor the gypsies, nor the Negroes when the Nazis came for them, because he wasn't one of them, nor for the Catholic clergy when the Nazis came for the Catholic clergy. So when they came for the Protestant clergy, there was no one left to stand up for him. So I want to help others. So when they come for me or someone I love, as they surely will, because they always do, poverty or suffering or age or the other vicissitudes and hardships that life can bring, I want there to be someone left to stand up for me. I'm Bill Haas. I want to be your next president. My website is votehaas.com or runbillrun.com, and I'm about people, not politics. This ad was paid for by Vote Haas.